Hello and welcome back to another video. My name is Darian and today I am going to be exposing myself a little bit. I am going to be talking about a bunch of popular series that I haven't read yet. So as I've mentioned in some of my other videos, I went through a reading slump of about 4 years and I barely read anything during that time. And I only really got back into reading last year. So during that 4-year period, there was a lot of books that were popular that I just didn't read because I wasn't reading much. So I missed out on a lot of books. And since I've started reading again last year, I have been kind of trying to catch up on the books I've missed while also keeping up with newer books and newer releases. So I have a lot of series to talk about today, so please forgive me for not reading some of these books. I'm sure some of these are some people's favorite books. These are all books that are really popular on BookTube. Hopefully I will get to them soon. These are all books I'm planning on reading eventually, so don't be too mad at me. But yeah, I have a lot of books here and I'm a little nervous about it. So what I'm gonna do is I will be going through all these books. Since there are a lot, I'm gonna try not to spend too much time on each book. And I usually don't read the synopsis of a book before I read it, so I'm just gonna try to tell you what I know about the book already. I'm sorry if I don't give a good enough explanation of what these books are about, but chances are you already know because you've probably already read them, so let's just get started. So I kind of split them up into two piles. I have books that were more popular during the time that I wasn't really reading. So these are books that were popular from like 2014, 2015 until like 2019, last year. And then I have some newer books that came out in the last year or two that I'm just trying to catch up on that I haven't gotten to yet, that are more new releases, so people have read them more recently. So some of them are books people have probably read when they were like in their teens, and maybe I should have read them in my teens. But the rest of them are more new, so it's okay. It's a little less, it's a little more forgivable that I haven't read them yet. So let's just get into it. This might be a long video, I don't know, we'll see how it goes. So the first book that I'm going to be talking about is Shatter Me by Tahera Mafi. I think that's how you say your name, I'm sorry if that's wrong. This book, like I said, was very popular. I remember when I was like in grade 10, grade 11, that's when my friends were reading this. And yeah, I haven't read it. When did it come out? It came out in 2011, so even then I should have been reading it and I wasn't when I was reading, so that's kind of on me. But this book, I know there was a original trilogy and then a newer trilogy came out like over the past few years. I think the last book actually just came out, and I've heard from a lot of people that the original trilogy is way better, that the newer trilogy was not necessary. So I want to try and read it. If I actually like it, I will try to read the original trilogy, and if I feel like it, I'll try the second trilogy. But I don't really like when authors do that, when they finish a series and then write another series. And I have heard disappointing things about the second series, or it's not even a second series, but the continuation series, I guess. So this book, all I know about it is that it's about a girl and she can't touch people or else they die. That's all I know. I'm sure there's a romance. The covers are really pretty, so it has that going for it. My friend read this recently actually, and she found it not that great, and we usually have the same taste in books, so I'll give it a try one day and we'll see, but I don't really think I'm gonna love this, but I do want to give it a try, so yeah. The next book I have is Cinder by Marissa Meyer. I think it's the Lunar Chronicles series, so I haven't read any of them. I don't remember how many books are in the series. I think it might be 5 or 6. And what I know is that these are retellings of a bunch of different fairy tales. So like this one is about Cinderella, but she's a cyborg, I believe. And I think that sounds really interesting. I'm actually really excited to read these. I have heard a lot of good things about them, and I know that some people are still reading them today, even though they've outgrown them, I guess, because this was more popular for teens. But yeah, I'm really excited to try this. I haven't read anything by Marissa Meyer. I actually have another series later on in this video to talk about. So, but yeah, I am excited to read this one. Like I said, I don't know too much about it, but it should be interesting, so yeah. So the next one I know is a very beloved series and world on BookTube, so please don't yell at me for not reading it. I promise I am planning on reading these books soon, but that is Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. This is the Grishaverse. I think it's the Grishaverse series, is that what it's called? But there's these 3 books in this series, and then there's also the Six of Crows duology, which I also have not read. I'm so sorry. And I know everyone loves Six of Crows so much. I know that's like one of the most beloved books on BookTube. And a lot of people say that this series isn't as good. The Shadow and Bone, those 3 books, aren't as good, and that you don't need to read these to read Six of Crows. But it will bother me so much if I don't read these before Six of Crows, even though I know I can read Six of Crows first, but I'm a completionist and I like to read things in order, in publication order. So I will read this before Six of Crows. I actually don't know that much about this series. I know Six of Crows is about this heist, that a bunch of characters go on this heist. That's all I know. But this trilogy, I really don't know much about it. I know some of the characters' names. I know there's the Darkling, and he's very polarizing. Some people love him or hate him. I'm interested to see what I will feel about these characters. And I also know that there's going to be a Netflix show that comes out, and I think they finished filming, so that might be coming out soonish. So I'm going to try to make sure I read this before the show comes out. But yeah, I'm really excited to read this, especially since everybody loves Leigh Bardugo and her series so much. So I'm excited to read this and then read Six of Crows. So the next series I'm going to be talking about, I actually haven't heard people talk about this recently. This was really popular when I was younger, again, when I was around 15, 16, when I wasn't reading as much, but lately I haven't heard people talk about this series very much, so I wonder if people have just kind of outgrown it. But that is the Darkest Minds trilogy by Alexandra Bracken. I don't know if it has another name for the series, but the first book is The Darkest Minds, and all I know about this series is that there's these characters and they have specific powers, and I think not everyone in the world has powers, and the ones who do are being hunted. I honestly, that might be completely wrong, but I think it's something like that. So I know my friends really liked this book when they read it in high school. I haven't heard the series talked about much lately, so I'm excited to see. Maybe I've outgrown it, maybe I would have loved it when I was a teenager and now I won't, but I do want to still try it out, so we'll see about this one. The next series I'm actually really excited to read because it is the Daughter of Smoke and Bone series by Laini Taylor, and as I've mentioned before, I read Strange the Dreamer recently and absolutely loved it. It is my new favorite book of all time, and I want to read everything Laini Taylor has written because I love her writing so much. It's so good. So I'm really excited to read this series. I, again, don't know much. I actually don't know anything about what this is about. The cover, I don't love this cover, honestly. Like, the cover of Strange the Dreamer is so beautiful, and this one is kind of like, I don't really like it. It's kind of weird and scary, honestly. Yeah, I really don't know anything about this. So I am excited to read this. I'm sure I will love the writing. I've heard a lot of people say they don't love this series as much as Strange the Dreamer, so I'm interested to see what I will think. But yeah, I'm really excited to get to this series. Okay, so the next series I have is the Illuminate Files by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. This series actually has continued to be popular since it came out, which I think was around 2015 actually. So I know people are still discovering this series and still loving it, so I'm really excited to get to it. Again, I don't know much about what this is about. I know it's science fiction and I know it takes place in space. That's all I know, but what I'm really excited about is it's told in this like mixed media format. So there's pages like that, there's like stuff, transcripts, and then there's like kind of more normal, traditional, I guess, storytelling. But yeah, there's got a lot of, it's told in a, yeah, there's this that just says Aiden. I don't know what that means, but Anyways, I'm really excited to read it. I don't think I've ever read a book like this before. I've heard a lot of amazing things about this book, so I'm really excited to get to this one. I'll probably get to this one pretty soon, actually, so yeah, I'm excited about this one. Oh, my leg's asleep. So the next book I want to talk about is the Court of Thorns and Roses series. I always want to say Court of Mist and Fury, but that's the second book. But I think the series is the first book, which is A Court of Thorns and Roses. ACOTAR, I have to remember that. That's what people call it. Anyways, ACOTAR, I'll just call it. So this is by Sarah J. Maas. As I mentioned in my other videos, I haven't read much Sarah J. Maas. I only read Throne of Glass for the first time in March, which was my first book by her that I've read. And I also read Crescent City last month. And I really enjoyed both of those books, so I'm excited to read this series. I know a lot of people love or hate this series. It seems like it'll be a lot of fun. Like, it might not be the most well-written series, I guess I'll have to see, but it seems like a fun series. I, again, don't know what this is about. I know it's a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and I think there's fae, and that's all I know. So yeah, I'm excited to read that one. I feel like if I read at least one book from each of her series, then I can officially decide if I'm truly mass trash, you know? Because so far I'm like maybe light mass trash. Like maybe mass like, I don't know what it could replace trash, but anyways, we'll see. We'll see if I'm truly mass trash or just like light mass trash, you know? Anyways, I don't know what I'm saying anymore, but yeah, I'm excited to read that series as well. So now we're getting into more recent series. This next series is Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. The last book actually just came out for this series, so now I can binge the whole trilogy if I really want to. I do know actually a little bit about this one. I believe it's about this mystery at this boarding school, I think in the maybe 20s or 30s or something like that. The headmaster of the school, his wife and daughter went missing, I believe, and they never found them, I don't think. And then, so it takes place during that time, and also in present day it follows this girl named Stevie, and there is someone else who went missing, and she thinks that these two mysteries might be related. Again, that could be completely wrong. I think that's something like what it's about, but I'm really excited to read this. I've heard really good things about it, so I mean, I know not everyone loves this series, but I think I'll like it a lot. And I've heard there's good mental health rep in this book, which I'm really interested in reading about, so I'm excited to get to this one. The next series I have here is Scythe. I think it's Arc of a Scythe series. By Neil Shusterman. Again, the last one recently came out, so I have the whole trilogy to binge. This takes place in a dystopian world, I think, where they've cured death, basically, so no one can die, not even from old age, I believe. So in order to prevent overpopulation, they have these scythes who kill people, basically. I think they kill only bad people, maybe? And I think this book is about two people who are training to be scythes. I don't know, something like that. Again, I've heard really good things about the series. I've actually heard a lot of people didn't love the last one, which is disappointing, but I at least want to give it a try and see if I like the first one, and if so, I'll read the whole series and see what I think of the whole series and see what I think of the last one. So the next series I have here is the other Marissa Meyer series that I'm going to be talking about, which is Renegades by Marissa Meyer. This one I've heard a lot of mixed things about. Some people really love this series and some people think it's kind of stupid. I have heard, again, the last book recently came out and a lot of people were disappointed by it, so I'm excited to see where I land on this series. I think it's about superheroes? Something about superheroes. People have powers. I don't know, honestly. The cover is really pretty. I love this cover so much. Like, that's kind of why I wanted to read it. I was definitely influenced by this cover, and the covers of the other books too are just so stunning. Like, ugh, I love nice covers. Anyways, but yeah, so I'm really excited to read this one as well. So next we have The Diviners by Libba Bray. Again, I love this cover. Once again, the last book recently came out, but everyone loves this series so much. I haven't heard anybody say bad things about this series. I think there's magic involved, I think it's paranormal, I think there's some creepy vibes going on. That's all I really know, but I think I'm gonna really love this one based on what everyone else says. Everybody loves this, so I'm really excited to get to this one. The next series I have is Nevernight by J. Kristoff. This is an adult fantasy book, and I think it's about an assassin named Mia, and that's all I know. I know I've heard it's very violent and very gory, which I'm a little nervous about because there's only so much gore that I can handle, so I am a little nervous going into this one, but again, I've heard only good things about this series. Everybody loves this. This is definitely one of the most popular series on BookTube, so I really want to try it out and see if I can handle all that violence, because I've heard just amazing things about this book, so I want to see if I will love it as much as everyone else does. Oh my god, my legs ow, are asleep. There's a lot going on right now. So the next series I'm going to be talking about is the Stormlight Archive series. The first book is The Way of Kings, and there are currently 3 books out in this series, and I think the fourth one is supposed to be coming out later this year, which is very exciting for everybody who loves that series. So, I mean, everybody who loves fantasy seems to love this series. It's my brother's favorite series. My boyfriend is currently reading it and he is loving it. I know I'm going to love it. Like, I know. The only reason I haven't read these books yet is because they're so chonky. Each book is about 1,000 pages, and that's just so intimidating to me because I don't read the fastest, so it's gonna take me at least a few weeks to read those books. Unless I really try hard, then I could maybe read them in like a week and a half or something. And my mentality is always like, I can either read a few books in a few weeks or this one giant book in a few weeks. And in my brain I'm like, well, isn't it better to read more books than just one book? So then I always choose not to read it, which is silly because then I don't read any big books, and there's so many big books that are good. But anyways, that's a bit of a tangent, but I will read this soon. I will try my best to read it soon. I did just finish reading Skyward by Brandon Sanderson, which I'll talk more about in my May wrap-up, but I really loved that book. So I've heard amazing things about the series. I really want to read it. And then that way I will know what so many people on BookTube and Book Twitter are talking about, because I have seen so many tweets lately about characters from this series and I'm just like, I don't know what they're saying. So yeah, I really want to get to this series soon as well. I just have to bite the bullet and read it, and it'll take me however long it takes me, and that's okay. If I only read one book in a few weeks, that's okay. So yes. The next series I'm going to be talking about, actually it's 2 series, but they're by the same author, so I thought I could kind of squish them together, but that is the Vicious series. I don't know if that series has a name, but the first book is Vicious, and A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. So we have the Vicious duology, which I've heard that there might be a 3rd book, so it might be a trilogy. And then The Darker Shade of Magic is a trilogy. I don't know too much about either of those series. I think Vicious, there's also a superhero element maybe. There's these, what are they called? Extraordinaries, who are people who like escape death, something like that. And I think there's a rivalry between ex-friends. I don't know. And then A Darker Shade of Magic I really don't know much about, but I've heard a lot of great things about both those series, and I've heard a lot of people love V.E. Schwab's writing, and I think I will love her writing as well, so I'm really looking forward to trying those series also. So we are finally at the end. The last series I'm going to be talking about today is the Cruel Prince series. Again, I don't think this series has a name, but it is by Holly Black. Again, the last book recently came out. Everybody, well, I was about to say everybody loves the series, but actually I've heard a lot of mixed things about each of the books of these series. I've heard a lot of people love the first one, love the second one, they hated the third one. I've heard people didn't like the first one, liked the second one a bit more, loved the third one. I've heard people say they love this one, they hate the second one, they love the third one. Like, I've heard literally every single combination you can imagine about these books. So I'm really interested to see what I think about each of these books, but I've heard generally that people like this series as a whole. They just feel differently about each book. I don't think I've heard anyone say they love all 3 books equally, so I am really interested to see what I will think about this because of that. These books seem to be so polarizing between everybody. All I know is that these books are about this girl named Jude, who is a human, I think. And there is the cruel prince named Carden, who is a fae, I think. And I think it's a hate to love romance, which I am always here for, so yeah, I'm really excited to see what I think about this series as well. So that is all of the series I'm going to be talking about today. There's a lot, and there's definitely some more that I didn't want to talk about just because I already had so many to talk about, but there's definitely more series that I haven't read, but I didn't want to expose myself too much. I will hopefully be reading some of these soon. I'm sure there's gonna be some that a few years from now I still haven't read, but I'm really interested in all of these books, and if you've read any of these, which I'm assuming all of you have because I'm super late to the game, I would love to know which books I should start with first. Which series are your favorites? Are any of these series your favorite series of all time? Please let me know because I have no idea what to start with, when to read these books, what I should put off. Are there any of these series that I can maybe skip out on that I don't need to read, that aren't as good as some people say they are? I don't know. Let me know because I really don't know. As you saw, this video might be really boring because it's just me saying I don't know what these books are about. I really don't know. I'm clueless. Yes, so let me know which books I should start out with first, which ones I should hold out on or skip or what have you. Any comment I appreciate, and again, if you could give me any comments you have about my videos. I'm still very new at this, clearly. How do you feel about, you know, the types of videos I'm making? Do you have ideas about other videos I can make? I would love to hear ideas, please. I'm running out of ideas. Do you like my intro? I'm still really working on making good thumbnails. If you have any tips for me, just anything, if you want to say anything to me, please comment down below. I love reading comments. They make me really happy. Also, as of right now, I'm 1 subscriber away from 50, which I can't believe. So if you want to subscribe and be the 50th subscriber, unless someone has subscribed since or until this video comes out, whatever. I can't think anymore. There's too many things around me. Okay, I'm stressed. So comment anything you want, really. I am excited to read your comments. Subscribe if you haven't already. I would love to have more people to talk to because I really love making these videos and editing them, and I just love this whole experience so far. So thank you guys for being so nice to me and for commenting. All of you who have commented, and for following me on Twitter and Instagram. If you haven't yet, I will link those down below so you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Goodreads. And if you want to subscribe, if you want to like this video, if you want to watch my old videos, they're like a few days old, they're not that old, but if you want to watch my other videos, feel free to do so. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have made it through this whole thing, which honestly, thank you so much because this was a ride, and hopefully I will see you with another video soon. Bye guys!